قبل أن تمر إلى الإخوان المسلمين
Before you start talking about the Muslim Brotherhood, I would like to say the following. I think that the dissatisfaction of people, the reason for that is that 50 or 60 years have gone by since these countries gained their independence, and there has been a revolution too. And I think that the way in which the regimes in place managed the region in general made people disappointed because there were so many aspirations for development in the first 20 to 30 years. The regimes were able to control matters to their favor, and there were small groups of people who controlled everything, and this led to disappointment. So we moved from dreams to nightmare. And this nightmare continued about 20 or 30 years, depending on the country. Let us not forget that the Tunisian president remained in power for 23 years, and during that time, human rights suffered. There were no freedoms. Social justice suffered. The economy suffered. So it is normal that the people of these countries want equality. They want their lives to improve. But ever since the revolutions, things have been turned upside down, so it's really illogical to think that all these problems could be solved in 1 or 2 years. So people have to understand that their freedoms will not be taken away from them again, but that will take time. There will be problems, but I think we will achieve good results in the end.
Let me ask you, sir, in Morocco, do you expect a reform process much like the Jordanian reform process, in which there will be elections, in which there will be a spiral of elections and reform, in which you will move towards an essential parliamentary system with a constitutional monarchy?
I think you should have asked me this question 2 years ago. Because, thanks be to God, we experienced the Arab Spring in Morocco in our own way. We modified the constitution in 2011. We held elections on the 25th of November 2011, which yielded a new political map. We have an opposition party which came first in the legislative elections and gained 107 seats. This is the first time in history that a party got more than 100 seats. On the 21st of November, the new government was created, which I head. The society mostly trusts the government. We have continued our work with the media. The parliament is functional and efficient. The situation in Morocco is stable. Our system is not based on a one-party system, nor on the influence of the army. We have one family which has led the country for many years and which plays the role of referee, shall we say. His Majesty the King, after there were demonstrations, made a very courageous declaration. He took into account the demands of the people. He embarked upon constitutional changes, and thankfully, we have economic stability in Morocco. When we ask for loans, we obtain them. We have lines of credit, big ones, open to us. There are many tourists who continue to visit Morocco normally. Political life is not always easy. There is a strong opposition. There is difficult dialogue sometimes. People ask themselves, is this government going to remain in place for a long time or not? But we consider this to be part of the democratic process, and thankfully things have been going well so far. And we think that the problems you mentioned are now behind us.
There are many people who believe that Morocco has backtracked on some of its reforms. What do you say to them?
No, there have been no backtracks. There's been no backtracking. We are experiencing a situation similar to all the other countries which are in transition, but thankfully we have stability. Perhaps there have been steps backwards because there are certain people who were in place before the Arab Spring, and perhaps it does not serve their interest that there was an Arab Spring. And we have to achieve balance in society between rich and poor, for example. In today's Morocco, any citizen can say anything they want. Obviously, there are people who do not like the new situation, and so they put pressure on the government, and this is difficult for the government, and sometimes they try to put obstacles in our way. However, we are committed to reforms, and we want society to support the current government. I'm not trying to say that we have no problems or that there have been no attempts to undermine stability. But every time there has been a plot, a terrorist plot, it has been foiled. And in the last 2 years, we have not witnessed any terrorist acts. And so the problems we had, that is why I said that we consider them to be behind us now. And obviously we have problems related to this period, but mostly we've overcome our problems.
You want to say something?
I believe that the West must be aware of something. Now, after the revolution, the West wanted to deal with Arab regimes that were similar to his own regime, similar to his own situation. They thought that the situation would be similar to what they had in the West. However, the people in the Arab world don't want that. They want respect for their own specificities. They have their own conditions and their own contexts. What do we want as Arab people? We don't want women who wear the veil to remove the veil. We don't want women who don't wear the veil. We don't want to force them to wear the veil. We want everybody to be free. We don't want to force anybody to do anything. Now, of course, we are witnessing this movement and this transformation in our society. And we have some people who might force their wives or their daughters to wear the veil or to remove the veil. However, this is not the opinion of the mainstream of the population of our countries, of the majority of the population. We don't want anybody to impose anything about us, to impose anything on us. We want our own way of life. We want to be able to change the past conditions, the past situation. We want to change that lack of freedom, that lack of democracy, that lack of openness that we had in the past. And we want the West to accept us as we are. We want them to accept our specificities. We are not Western countries. We are Arab countries. We have Muslims, we have Christians, and we have Jews who live in our countries. And we have all lived in peace in the past. Now we still have Jews living in Morocco. And they are a minority, and they enjoy their full liberties, their full freedoms, and they are respected by the population, by the Muslims in the country. We have women who wear the veil and women who do not wear the veil. However, what we ask of each citizen is to respect the law. And I think that you in the West must take care and must be aware of that.
But the truth of the matter is the women in the Arab world deserve better.
أنا ما قلت
Fred, you did that intentionally, right?
But I have not blamed the West. I have not blamed the West, and I don't know why you applaud. Usually we applaud in Morocco. And we hold elections and applaud in Morocco, not here in Davos. I have not said that the West is to blame. I said that the West wants us to be at its image, to be similar to it. But do you deny that you have supported Ben Ali? Ben Ali, who has denied the Tunisian woman the right to wear the veil. Can you deny that in the West? You cannot deny that. So let us speak in all honesty. You talk about freedom and we we talk about freedom, and it's the same freedom. You talk about democracy, and we also accept this democracy. But if you talk about democracy and want us to be democratic, and then we hold elections and we have Muslim parties who govern us, you say we don't like your democracy. We are people who have a say, who express themselves, who vote, and who have taken the initiative, and who want to be at good terms with the West. We want to develop our relations with the West. We want to develop economic relations with the West, and we believe that the West can help us. We believe that the West has its and carries part of the responsibility for the situation in Syria, and we also carry part of the responsibility for the situation in Syria. However, we think that we need to find a solution to the situation in Syria, and we need to find a different president in Syria. And we all have our share of responsibilities here. Now, if you talk about this report, this human development report, and this report written by a woman, we have 150 million women living in the Arab world, and they are, some of them are happy with the situation, some of them are not happy with the situation, some of them have written reports, others have not written reports. However, they all have a will, and we must respect their will. They don't want anything to be imposed on them. They want to enjoy their freedom, and they want their freedom to be respected by others. They don't want to be forced to do anything. They don't want anything to be imposed on them, and I believe that trying to impose anything on them would have negative repercussions on us all.
You see, they are now applauding for you.
Oh, good.
They're now applauding for you. Mr. Benkirane.
It's only normal because I'm a leader in my country. It's only normal that they applaud.
But they used to applaud for Ben Ali too, so be careful. So, Mr. Benkirane.
There is no harm in uploading. I don't think that any applause could create leaders.